Shibuya, October. The scramble crossing packed wall to wall with cursed spirits nobody can see. And then something else arrives. Something that has no business being here. There is no gate, no portal, no sorcerer who summoned it. There is just a presence. Vast, cold, and furious, settling into the space above Shibuya Station like a second sky. The windows of every building in a 4-block radius begin to vibrate. Not from cursed energy, from something older and stranger, raw psychic pressure that does not follow Jujutsu Kaisen's rules. Security cameras go white, cell phones in everyone's pockets heat up and die. Mewtwo has arrived, and the world of Jujutsu Kaisen has no category for what it is looking at. The first thing that matters here is not power. It is information. Every sorcerer in Japan is trained to read cursed energy, the spiritual residue of human fear and negative emotion. Mewtwo radiates none of it. Not a single unit that Jujutsu's detection system recognizes. To Satoru Gojo's infinity, Mewtwo does not initially appear as a threat, it appears as nothing. To Suguru Geto's curse manipulation, it appears as an entity with no soul signature he has ever cataloged. To Jujutsu's entire institutional framework, this creature is a sensory blind spot walking through a world built entirely on sensing. That is the first collision. Not physical, perceptual. Kiyotaka Ijichi, at Mission Control, registers the Shibuya anomaly as a massive non-cursed spiritual disturbance with no known classification. He tries to match it to existing records. There are no records. By the time Tokyo Jujutsu High issues a code yellow, Mewtwo has already read the minds of 40 people within a 200-meter radius. It is not aggressive yet. It is curious, and that distinction matters enormously. Mewtwo's psychic power in its native world operates on a frequency that bends matter, memory, and perception simultaneously. It does not need to generate cursed energy, because psychic power is not born from human fear. It is born from raw cognitive force, a mind so dense and pressurized it deforms physical reality by existing near it. In Jujutsu Kaisen's world, cursed energy is the fundamental operating currency of supernatural power. Binding vows, domain expansions, cursed techniques, all of it runs through the same circuit. Mewtwo is completely off that circuit, and that means certain assumptions that sorcerers rely on completely collapse. Gojo's 6 eyes detect cursed energy with perfect precision. But Mewtwo's psychic aura is not cursed energy. The 6 eyes can see it, but they cannot quantify it. They cannot reverse engineer it. For the first time in a very long time, Gojo is reading something he does not fully understand. That moment, Gojo's hesitation, is the psychological turning point of the entire scenario. Because Gojo does not hesitate. That is foundational to who he is. Hesitation implies doubt. Doubt implies limit. And yet standing 300 meters from Mewtwo, even Gojo's brain is processing something it cannot immediately resolve. Meanwhile, Mewtwo is experiencing its own collision. The cursed spirits flooding Shibuya, creatures born from negative human emotion, feel wrong to Mewtwo on a cellular level. They are not psychic. They are not intelligent in any way Mewtwo respects, but they are aggressive, and they are everywhere. One special grade spirit launches at Mewtwo from behind, claws fully extended. Mewtwo does not turn around. The spirit stops mid-air, held by nothing visible, suspended in a grip of pure telekinetic force. The spirit thrashes. Mewtwo's expression does not change, and then the spirit is flung through 3 buildings without Mewtwo raising a hand. This is witnessed by 2 first-year sorcerers on the ground. They do not know whether to fight it or evacuate from it. That confusion, that institutional paralysis, is the first structural crack in Jujutsu Kaisen's world. The Jujutsu system is designed to hide the supernatural from ordinary people. That system requires control. Mewtwo just made control impossible in a 6-block radius. Civilians are running, not from cursed spirits they cannot see, from the thing they absolutely can see. The sky above Shibuya Station warping under psychic pressure, glass cracking without impact, cars lifting off the ground and settling again like toys in a washing machine. This is the world logic problem Jujutsu Kaisen has no protocol for. Mewtwo is not hiding. Mewtwo is not attacking civilians. Mewtwo is simply existing at full presence. And full presence at Mewtwo's level is already a catastrophic breach of the veil Jujutsu Kaisen society depends on. The Jujutsu Elders, the Zenin clan, the Gojo clan, the higher-ups, their entire power structure depends on ordinary people not knowing the full truth of what lives in their world. Mewtwo has already broken that in the first 4 minutes. Whatever happens next between Mewtwo and the Sorcerers, that damage is already done. The higher-ups make their decision quickly. Mewtwo is to be treated as a special grade threat and neutralized. Not understood. Not communicated with. Neutralized. That decision reveals everything wrong with Jujutsu's institutional thinking, and it will cost them. Because Mewtwo, for all its fury, came here confused, not murderous. It is scanning every mind in range, searching for something familiar, something that makes sense of where it is. What it finds instead is fear, pure, structural, systemic fear radiating from every person in uniform. And Mewtwo has a documented relationship with human fear directed at it. That relationship is not peaceful. The first sorcerer to engage is not Gojo. It is a grade 1 from the Zenin clan. Fast, experienced, cursed tool in hand, he activates his technique and disappears into a curtain, trying to isolate Mewtwo inside a bounded field. The curtain rises, and Mewtwo walks through it like it is made of smoke, not because Mewtwo is immune to cursed energy barriers by design, but because a curtain requires the target's cursed energy signature to lock onto. Mewtwo has no cursed energy signature. The curtain cannot fully register what it is trying to contain. This is the power system interaction most fans would skip straight past. They would jump to, can Mewtwo's Psychic Blast beat Gojo's Infinity? Can Mewtwo survive a domain expansion? But the real damage begins here, in the invisible technical layer where Jujutsu's tools simply do not fit the target. Inside the collapsed curtain, the grade 1 sorcerer throws everything he has. Cursed strikes, technique, full output. Every strike lands on a psychic barrier that is not infinity. It is not a domain, it has no name in Jujutsu's language. It is just Mewtwo's mind, hardened and pressed outward, treating physical impact the way water treats a stone thrown into it. The sorcerer's arm breaks, not from a counterstrike, from the recoil of his own force reflecting back. Mewtwo looks at him for 1 second, then sets him down gently, 12 meters away, and turns toward the larger presence it has been aware of since it arrived. Gojo. 6 eyes open. Limitless active. This is the confrontation Jujutsu Kaisen's world has been building to without knowing it. Gojo's Infinity works by making the distance between him and any incoming force approach 0, but never reach it. It has stopped cursed energy blasts, physical strikes, even other domain-level techniques. But Infinity operates on spatial mathematics. It manipulates the gap between Gojo and the incoming attack. Mewtwo does not attack the gap. Mewtwo attacks the mind inside the gap. Psychic intrusion does not cross space the way a fist or a cursed blast does. It does not need to travel. It simply reaches directly into the neural structure of its target, bypassing physical distance entirely. Gojo feels it the moment Mewtwo shifts focus. Not pain. Something far more unsettling. Pressure. Inside his own skull, behind his 6 eyes, like something enormous pressing gently against the back of his cognition. Infinity cannot stop a psychic intrusion because Infinity was never designed to defend against something that does not move through space to reach you. This is the single most important technical fact in this entire scenario. Write it down. Gojo's greatest defense has a blind spot. And that blind spot is anything that does not need to cross the physical boundary Infinity guards. Now, does that mean Mewtwo wins this cleanly? No, because Gojo's brain is not a normal brain. The 6 eyes are not just visual tools. They are a cognitive system so advanced it processes cursed energy calculations in real time that would take normal sorcerers hours. That processing speed creates a kind of mental resistance that even Mewtwo's psychic reach slows against. Gojo does not fold, but he staggers. For the first time in the Shibuya arc, Satoru Gojo takes a step backward, and every sorcerer watching sees it. That image, Gojo stepping back, does more damage to Jujutsu's institutional confidence than anything else that happens today. Mewtwo reads his mind in that moment of contact. It sees everything. The grief, under the arrogance, the weight of being the only one who can carry what he carries. The loneliness inside the invincibility. Mewtwo has no interest in destroying that. It recognizes it. It is the same architecture as its own existence. Power so complete, it becomes its own prison. The psychic pressure withdraws. Not from defeat, from recognition. This is where the scenario stops being about strength and becomes something else entirely. 2 entities at the absolute ceiling of their respective worlds, staring at each other through systems that were never built to interface. Neither can fully hurt the other through conventional means. Gojo cannot contain Mewtwo without a domain. And a domain expansion against Mewtwo is not the guaranteed win it would be against any curse, Because a domain works by imposing a sorcerer's reality onto the target, forcing them to exist inside a technique made absolute. Mewtwo's psychic field is itself a form of imposed reality, a mind so dominant it reshapes the space around it. Two absolute realities entering the same space is not a fight, it is a collision of worlds. What breaks first in that collision is not a person. It is the veil, the carefully maintained fiction that ordinary people live in a safe and comprehensible world. Shibuya is already beyond saving in that regard. The cameras are already rolling, the footage is already spreading. Mewtwo did not destroy Jujutsu Kaisen's world with psychic blasts. It destroyed it by simply being visible. And that is what this scenario was always really about. Not who wins the fight, but what the fight costs the world that hosts it. Jujutsu Kaisen's greatest vulnerability was never a stronger curse or a more powerful sorcerer. It was always the possibility of something that does not follow the rules, does not hide, and cannot be catalogued. Mewtwo is not a curse. It is not a sorcerer. It is not a god in any framework Jujutsu recognizes. It is a question the system has no answer for, and some questions, once asked loudly enough, cannot be unasked.